This is Elise A. Wiggins, and I am excited to be here live with you today. Today is Monday, May 8th, the second week in May, and we're going to call these Mondays Make It Happen Monday. And I'm just grateful to be here with you and to be consistent. I'm grateful for the feedback that I have been receiving. And I want you to let me know in the comments, what would you like for me to talk about? Ask me questions, gauge me. Let's make this an engaging process where it's not just always me talking, but I want to be able to, spend time with you and connect and communicate. So before we go any further, I just want to say that this topic kind of just came together today, right? Like I've had the material all the time, but it was just like today. So we're going to talk from the perspective of what happens after you leave a psychologically abusive relationship, right? So when I just moved here, and I found my old journal, and this was from 2013. And when I was originally writing A Farewell to Welfare, that wasn't the title. I actually got that title from a mentor because she thought that it fit. The original title of the book was Leaving Him, Discovering Me. But I didn't want to make the book so relationship-y or all about the ex, right? But now that I'm thinking about it 10 years later, what's the number one problem? What's the reason why we can't stay consistent in our goals at work, different things? A lot of times as women, we are in relationships that are not healthy for us, psychologically abusive. And this is not a channel where we're gonna, beat up on men and praise women or vice versa. But this is a channel where we're gonna be real about our experiences, but we're also gonna heal and we're gonna get better. So, leaving him, discovering me. What I found is, and today I was actually doing some reading of my DSM-5, and it talks about this is a condition that they would say is a other condition that may be the focus of clinical attention, but is not necessarily a mental thing. So spouse or partner abuse. I think what's really interesting in the DSM-5 is the way they say it's non-accidental, the behavior, meaning that the person is intending to berate you, to make fun of you, to humiliate you. This is intentionally. And when you have stayed in a relationship that's psychologically abusive for so long, what happens is you attach their beliefs and their thoughts about you and their words to you on you. So, for example, if your ex would say things to you like, you're a failure, you're stupid, you'll never be anything without me. When you're not around your ex, when you're not with your ex, your own mind says those things to you. Oh my gosh, you're a failure, you won't be this. Because now you've heard it for so long that you're like, okay, like this has to be true. And especially if things in your life are not going the way you designed according to your plan, those thoughts can become more rampant. So one of the things I definitely wanted to say, I don't know if you remember the terminology, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can never hurt me. No, that is so not true. I'm actually the example of that, because from my own experience, I remember hearing negative things my ex said to me, and we had already broken up 3 years. And I'm like, wow, this man really just has this type of control over my mind. And it took me a really long time to get it back, to get it together, but I did. And that's the reason why I started my business. That's the reason why I wanted to help people, because I knew what it was like to be talented, to be educated, to have the motivation, to have the drive, and then feel stuck because your heart got broken, because, like things just didn't work out. And I wanted to help women, specifically those wanting to return to school or wanting to get back into the workforce. So if that's you, I'm here for you. So If you would like to get to the place where your ex's thoughts, or maybe this might even be something from your childhood, maybe this was your parents' words to you were really harsh. They scolded you. I had a client last week said that she didn't know that she herself had ADHD until she had her son, and her son was diagnosed. And she was like, "Wait, I do all of the same things. I have the same symptoms." And her entire childhood, she was told she was lazy. She was told she was unmotivated. Get off the couch and do something. And her family didn't understand that she was suffering with a mental illness. So now, as an adult, she still hears those same things when she wants to take a break, when she wants to stop. So she kind of like works herself into exhaustion almost, so she doesn't have to think she's lazy, because this is the belief she's taken on from her childhood. So if this is you and you want to break that pattern, you want to get rid of those old negative thoughts, beliefs that your family, your partner, whoever placed on you, those are not your thoughts, right? I I I am not a failure. I am thinking I'm a failure. When those thoughts come to you, I am not. I'm thinking I am a failure, but I'm not a failure. So one of the most important things I will say, because I won't make this video too long and I won't weigh it down, is you gotta get away from people who speak negatively, or their energy is negative, or they just a Debbie Downer. I'm gonna give you an example. Um Last week, right, I was in a really, really good state. Like I had got some good news. I was making some really good connections. I was just vibrating somewhere else. And I was grateful. And I hadn't been in that space in so long. I was like, no, no matter what happens, I'm gonna savor this. Like, because normally when you're in a good mood, it's like something comes along and it's like, okay, wait, I'm mad now. But I promised myself, I said, I'm going to stay in this state. And I had spoken to a friend and she was really upset. She was really, really mad. And she said a couple of things, a lot of things that could have triggered me or got me off track. And I realized what it was. I said, oh, this person is not vibrating at the same frequency as me, and they want me to come down to them. I can't. So I allow her to vent. I allow her to say what she said. And then I was like, all right, peace or whatever. I don't even know how I ended it, but I did. And I didn't allow it to change my mood. I didn't allow it to change my energy. When you're walking away from an abusive relationship or an abusive situation, you cannot afford to be around people who can potentially trigger you. So that means if you have to go in positive isolation, maybe you go for walks by yourself, not so much of you just staying in the house by yourself, isolating yourself from the world, but more of a protective isolation. Maybe you need to stop taking certain people's phone calls. Every time somebody calls you, you don't need to answer. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, especially if you know the person is going to change your mood, it's going to change how you feel and the thoughts that you're thinking. So what I'm promising to do, I'm promising to come live every Monday and Wednesday at 11 a.m. And I would love it if I could engage with you, if we could talk, if you could let me know what's going on. Because it's my belief that there's so many things that are happening in the world. There's almost not anyone you can speak to that isn't experiencing some type of calamity or some type of circumstance. And if we could just come together to say nice words, affirming things to people, things that can uplift people and make them feel better. So for me personally, I'm not a miserable person and I don't like to be sad or mad. So I believe that that's the reason why I do the work that I do as a coach. Because I like to see people happy. I like to see people fulfilling their goals and their desires and the things that they said that they were going to do. So if you see that you're around miserable people, or in fact, you are the miserable person, check that energy, please, because it's not going to get you too far and then you're going to just sink and go further and further in it. If this is something you would like, if you would like to work with myself and a community of other moms and caregivers who just want to come on and say, hey, this is what's going on, I need help, or you want to listen, or you want to help, Join me and other moms and caregivers every Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll leave the link below. If you are in the Bergen County area and you are in need of work clothes, if you want to return back to work or training, I'm hosting a special Freedom Friday called Dress for Success, where we've taken donations of gently used work clothes, shoes, accessories, and we're giving them to women, moms and caregivers specifically, who are returning to the workforce. You want to feel confident, you want to feel good about yourself. We're going to have some resources from Inglewood Hospital. The event is going to be from 11 to 3 at the Inglewood Public Library. I hope to see you all there. And as always, until the next time we speak to each other, I want you to know that love is real, and don't wait for a leader, become one.